If you've ever finished a project and didn't know what to charge, then this video is for you. Most people either guess, copy competitors, or just hope they're charging enough for their woodworking projects. But today I'm giving you 3 pricing methods that anyone can use, whether you're brand new or have years of experience. Hi, I'm Jen with Woodcraft Blueprints. I teach woodworking projects that are both fun and profitable inside my membership. And over the years, I've sold in person and online, including a 6-figure Etsy shop. So if you want to turn your woodworking into a business, then you're in the right place with the right person. And once I learned these methods myself, I stopped making anything that didn't have at least a 30% profit margin. I wouldn't even list it in my shop. And you can start doing the same once you figure out how to price your projects. By the end of this video, you'll have 3 simple methods to choose from, and you pick the one that fits where you are and you'll never guess at pricing again. So whether you're making your first project or your 1,000th, one of these 3 methods will work for you. So let's get into it. You need to start by knowing your real costs, not just your materials, okay? Then you add your profit using the method that matches your stage. So out of the 3 I'm giving you today, it's super simple to a little bit more advanced. You just pick the one that makes the most sense for you right now. And before we get to the 3 methods, we need to start with the foundation, knowing what your projects actually cost to make. All 3 pricing methods start with the same thing, knowing your cost. And it's not just the wood, it's everything that goes into your project. And there are 3 cost categories, and I'll walk you through each one with a real example. The first cost is your materials. And I break this down into 2 types. Raw materials and supplies. Raw materials are your main building components. So in my case, it's always usually the pine boards. Supplies are things like screws, glue, paint, sandpaper. Let's use this barn door wreath hanger as an example. So wood, I can say $12, paint and stain $1, nails $1, sandpaper $1. Total materials for this project costs $15. Now there's another cost too, which is your time, because your time has value. And there's 3 steps to calculate your time. So first of all, you have to track it. This project takes about 30 minutes. Step 2, you need to choose an hourly rate. If you're a beginner, you can do minimum wage, $15 or $20 an hour. If you are intermediate, you can go up, let's just say $20 to $30. If you're really experienced, your price is going to be higher. You know what I mean? $30 to $40 to $50, depending on what you're making. Then step 3 is multiply the time it took for the project by your hourly rate. 0.5 hours, which is 30 minutes, times $20 an hour is $10 in labor for this. So running total for this guy so far, materials at $15, labor at $10, we're at $25. But there's one thing we need to add in, which is overhead. So overhead would include those things like booth fees, any rent that you're paying, utilities for your shop, packaging, marketing and ads, just general supplies like office supplies, toilet paper. Equipment maintenance would also fall under that category, as well as buying tools themselves, and you can add insurance as well. And here's how to calculate it simply. Let's just say your monthly overhead is $200. And on average, you make about 40 projects a month. So you take your $200 divided by 40, and that's $5 of overhead per project that you need to add back. So now the cost for this, the total cost is $30. And this is what you also call your break-even point. This is what it costs to make the project. Now let me show you the 3 methods for creating that price, that sales price that we need to have. There's 3 methods, and I'm going to show you how each one works when you use it and how to decide which one's for you. They go from simple to advanced, but all of them work. Pick the one that matches where you are right now. You're not locked in forever. You can always switch as your business grows. And let's start with the easiest one, which is materials times 3. It's the simplest pricing you'll ever do. You just take your material cost. So for this wreath hanger, the material cost was a total of $15. So you're taking material cost and just multiply it by 3. So for this one, this would be a $45 retail price, which sounds just about right. This method is great when you're brand new to pricing, or you want something fast and simple, or you're not ready to track your time or your overhead yet, or you just need a number fast and need to move on. And even though you're only multiplying materials, that 3x multiplier builds in that labor, overhead, and profit. It's all baked in. It's a good guesstimate. Is it perfect? Is it precise? No, but it's way better than guessing. And if you're underpricing right now, This method will probably double your prices, and that's a good thing. Bottom line, method number one is I need to price something today. It's fast and simple, and it gets you profitable. Method number two is called the markup method, and this is when you want more control and accuracy. This one uses your full cost, materials and labor and overhead. In our example, that was $30 for this. And then you choose a markup percentage. And there are different industry standards. You can Google it and research it if you want. It could be 30, 40, 50, 60, 70%. But you're gonna take your markup and multiply it by your cost. If you have a 50% markup, then this would end up being $45. You might be wondering, how do you choose your markup? I would say start at 50% and just adjust from there. There's other factors to consider, like how fast does it sell? Are you online versus in person? Or how much competition do you have for that item? And how skilled are you? Once you find a market percentage that makes sense, you just get to continue using that. You don't have to rethink it every time. You just have to find your material costs and then use that markup percentage. When should you use this markup method? Is when you're ready to track all of your costs. You know exactly how much profit you're making, and also if you're making different types of projects, and if you want more control than method number one. This method works great because once you calculate your costs, it goes fast. Method number three is the profit margin method, and this is the more advanced one, and this is for people who are scaling, are thinking about wholesale, or basically if you're just a smart business owner and you have to have a certain profit margin in order for your business to thrive. The markup method is how much profit you add on top of the cost. The margin is what percentage of the final price is profit. And this does matter when you're growing. The formula is cost divided by 1 minus your desired margin equals your selling price. So with a 40% profit margin, which is typical on handmade items, your $30 cost becomes a $50 price because you're taking 30 divided by 0.6, because 1 minus 0.4 is 0.6. 30 divided by 0.6 is $50, okay? And then it gives you a profit of $20, which is 40% of the selling price. And if you want to sell wholesale, then you will need to maintain profit margins, okay? And this method helps you work backwards from that. When I was adding new products into my Etsy shop, I would actually figure the profitability on the item and to see if it was even worth pursuing. Because if it wasn't a 40% profit margin, I didn't even bother with it. So when should you use this profit margin method? It's when you're established and you're looking to scale, or you're considering wholesale, you want the most accurate profit tracking, or if you're hiring help or expanding. And it works because it's super precise and you know exactly what percentage of each sale is profit. That is essential for business planning and long-term growth. Number three is your I'm running a real business method, okay? And if you're just starting out, it might be overwhelming, so just go back to method one. It works great. You notice how they all kind of land around the same retail price. The markup method and the profit margin method, you just know for a fact what your profit is. Now, sometimes we have to adjust those pricing in order to make sales because sometimes you have to read your market. Let me show you when to raise your prices, when to evaluate, and how external factors can affect what people are willing to pay. Now, there are times where you need to raise your prices. Two signs, one of them if it sells out immediately. So if people are just, buying it out, you probably might be underpriced. So try raising the price by 10 to 20% and see what happens. Or if you just need to slow orders down, raise your prices. Also, if your skill has improved, you probably need to raise your prices. So if your work is faster, better, more polished, better craftsmanship than when you started, your hourly rate and your prices should reflect that. Don't be afraid to test higher prices. Worst case scenario, you just adjust them back down. Now, you may get into a situation if you wonder if your prices are too high. Here's some things to look at before you lower your pricing. So if it's been sitting unsold for months, no orders, no views, something, it's just not moving, don't immediately drop the price. First, you could try better photos. You could try a better finish on it or updated design. Maybe nobody likes that stain color. Or try selling on a different platform. I just had a member tell me he had sold a couple things at a craft show while other things didn't move, and then he posted on a Facebook marketplace and sold all 6 of them. So try a different platform. And more often than not, it's not the price, it's the presentation. If people say it's too expensive, then you might be pricing for the wrong audience, okay? So you have like a branding and a presentation don't match the price point. You don't want to market to people that don't have money to buy it. Here's a mindset shift I really want you to hear. Low prices don't create more sales. They create doubt. When something's priced too cheap, the buyer assumes it's lower quality. So confident pricing signals confidence in your craftsmanship, and buyers pick up on that. So your pricing does need to be a reflection of your level of craftsmanship. And some other factors worth mentioning, because they do actually have a big impact on your price, is your seasonality. You got to be selling your seasonal decor at the right time in the right window. Okay, you can't sell Christmas in February. You're just not going to get those prices. And also, where you're selling makes a huge difference, like the world of difference. Online buyers often pay way more because they're shopping for convenience and uniqueness. Okay, craft fair shoppers or in-person events, they tend to be more price sensitive. Also, how unique or custom your product is has a big impact on the price, okay? If it's one of a kind or custom, you should definitely be charging more. And if you want to take your woodworking business even further, check out my membership. Inside, you'll get access to a full library of woodworking projects that are trendy and built for profit.